Hi, everyone. This is Mylan Calvin with McMedia Digital Marketing. I am hosting a social media training for anyone who is new to social media, to the industry, or the role of social media manager. So I know lately a lot of people that have been in marketing have had to sort of transition what their marketing looks like. A lot due to the pandemic, but also some of these things needed to happen. It took a pandemic to push us there. So I wanted to host this training. I've been in the digital marketing field for a while now, and I'll get into a little bit about my story in a minute. But I just wanted to host this training so that we could go through some of the basics, answer a lot of the questions. So whenever I put this information out there that I was going to host this live training, I asked a question: what do you want to learn? So in this training, I have tried to answer a lot of those questions, but I also know that there's some specific things, like there were sometimes specific questions. So I have hopefully a solution to help you guys get to where you need to go for yourself and your clients utilizing social media how you need to. So with that, we're going to just dive into our overview. So this is sort of an overview of what I'll be going over today with the training. Who is this for? I've told you a little bit already. I'll give you a little bit of rundown about me and what McMedia Digital is. And then we'll talk about getting started. So how you get started as a business owner managing social media, business development, getting new clients for yourself, and how you can sort of grow your business as a social media manager. Social media strategy and purpose. So I'll go a little bit into strategy. So that was a lot of the questions I got was about strategy, and I'll go a little bit into that, as well as tools to use for social media. So planning tools, scheduling tools, reporting tools, things like that. And then I have a quick offer for you all at the end to let you know how I can help you more specifically. So who's this training for? I've gone over a little bit. Really, anyone that's new to the whole field of digital marketing. Again, many more people have been pushed into this side of marketing because of the pandemic. Everyone's working from home. The digital channels were the only channels that a lot of people had for a while. So there's a lot of new people in the industry, and I wanted to help guide them, as well as anyone new to the field of social media marketer or management. So again, social media was one of the digital marketing mediums that became really important as the pandemic hit. But there's a lot to it, and I'll go into that as well. And then anyone new to the role of social media manager. So you may have been in a different role in marketing or role altogether, and they said, hey, we don't have this position, but we have this position we think you'd be good at. Do you want to move there? Anything like that. So anyone who is new to the role of social media management, to the industry, whatever, this will be for you. So I just wanted to share a little bit about myself, how I got into the industry, and then about McMedia Digital. So I am the CEO of McMedia Digital. I have been a digital marketing consultant for 11 years now. And I started back in 2009 when Facebook pages was really the only thing that you had to worry about. And it was a time when I personally just wanted to be a virtual assistant, and I wanted to have my own business. So it was my only goal setting out. I had come from the corporate world. I had been laid off as part of the Great Recession. But instead of going and finding another job that I knew I wasn't going to like, I had sort of this history of working in corporations and not loving it, but I couldn't figure out why. Turns out it's because I'm supposed to be my own business owner. So if that happens to be where you're at, or maybe you do work in a corporation and this is new for you and you need the training, whatever it is, part of my story is that I was new to being a business owner and new to social media, because social media was new to businesses. So my first few sets of clients, again, I just wanted to be a virtual assistant, but all the new clients that I were talking to wanted to figure out how to use social media for business. At the time in 2009, early 2010, businesses were just sort of figuring out how to use social media as a platform for their business. And most of it was Facebook pages. Now we're 11 years later, there's so many more platforms. Facebook itself has grown, Instagram has grown, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit, all of these platforms. There's now TikToks, there's all different features and all different ways that you can reach your potential clients through social media. But that means as a social media manager, you have a lot on your plate. And I also know that most of the time when you're in organization, people will put a lot on the social media manager. So you might be stretched thin, whether you're your own business owner and have clients, or whether you're in this role for an organization, a business, a nonprofit, whatever. There's likely a lot that you have on your plate. So that's why I have launched McMedia Digital. So I am not new to digital marketing. I've been part of the industry for 11 years now, managing my own clients. I've worked with a lot of great organizations, managed a lot of different projects. But I saw that there were a lot of new people in the industry. And I know how it goes, that if you need to do a good job for yourself or your clients, or you want to scale your business, that you need help. And that's where McMedia Digital comes in. So I'll go a little bit into how McMedia Digital works next, but I wanted to give you just a little bit of background about my story, and then I wanted to share that I'm a wife of 11 years. So the same year that I got married, I also got laid off but started my own business. So I've been doing this for 11 years, and I am the mom now of 3 girls and a bonus mom to a teenager. So we have a lot of girl vibes over here. And one of my favorite quotes, you'll see it on here, is "No one ever became poor by giving." That's part of my faith, but also just part of who I am as a person. So I'm giving away this content, I'm giving away my resources, I'm giving away money whenever necessary, as part of my faith and who I am as a person. So I believe that when you invest in other people, that will eventually help you in some way or another. So I wanted to go into a little bit about how McMedia Digital worked. I actually just launched McMedia Digital this year. I mean, I started my first digital marketing business in a recession, so why not start another business in the middle of a pandemic? But essentially, I've created a virtual assistance agency for other marketers, specifically digital marketers, because all of the platforms that we're on now, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Reddit, TikTok, using Instagram Reels, using Instagram posts, using Instagram stories. Same for Facebook. There's Facebook pages, groups, LinkedIn. It's all a lot. And there's so many different actions that you have to take to be successful for yourself, for your client, for your business, whatever you're managing social media for. There's a lot more actions that you have to take. And because I have that experience and I have built this team of people who understands digital marketing and social media, I felt like we could offer a service through McMedia Digital that could help other marketers. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a second so I can pull up my website so you can see a little bit about how we work. And I promise that this part will be short because I don't want this to be all about McMedia Digital. I just wanted to share with you a little bit about what we do. So this is my website. Essentially, again, we are virtual assistants for busy digital marketers. We know that digital marketers are busy because we are busy. This is a little bit of introduction for me on how we work, but essentially I have laid out services that I know social media managers and other digital marketers need, and you can order them through our website. So essentially you pick what you want or a service that you need, whether it's for your own business, for your clients, and we can fulfill those for you. So what happens is you click on one of these services, you fill out the information, and then one of our team members will be in touch with you to get you set up. You don't pay until you're set up. And then you can use us that one time because you're super busy that day, week, month, whatever it is. Or we can set up an ongoing arrangement where we support you through these services to help you scale your business or help you scale your client's business, whatever it is. We've been in this scenario multiple times on either. So we would love to help you that way. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is getting started. So I am not, let me share my screen again. I am not a lawyer by any stretch of the imagination, but I can tell you my experience. So I actually started as a sole proprietor and I continue to be a sole proprietor. However, I applied for my EIN whenever I got started. So I actually have a business EIN that I do all my billing through. But what that also helps with is building business credit, which became super important this year whenever small businesses were applying for disaster loans, the PPP program, whatever it was, you needed a business entity. And even though I'm a sole proprietor, I had filed for an EIN. I had a business EIN and business credit, and that was super helpful this year. But there are other entities that you can set up. So you can be a sole proprietor, you can be an LLC, you can be a corporation. And I'll give you I'm going to add some resources into the chat that let you look up and help you decide what would be best for your business. There are some liability as part of being a sole proprietor. There's less liability creating an LLC, but there's different tax things that you need to do as part of each of them. So what I would recommend is taking a look at these resources I'm about to put in the chat, read through them. If you have questions, get with your accountant, which will be super important. So having a good relationship with your accountant will be super helpful, and they would be able to tell you from a tax perspective what the difference is between these different business types. I would recommend that you file for an EIN no matter as some of these business type choices, you're going to have to file as an EIN. You don't have to as a sole proprietor. I chose to, but I would recommend it. So give me just a second and I will get you the information in the chat for where to look as part of resources. This is the life of the trainer and moderator at the same time. So the first link is on choosing a business structure or business type, as I mentioned. And then the next link is going to be where you go to apply for your EIN once you have done that. Both of these are super helpful. The other thing that you're going to have to consider, and I cannot give you specific advice on this because it's different by each county, city, state. But there are different licenses that I had to have to, one, have a business in my state, in my county, in my city, and to work from home. So there's likely a state version. For example, I'm in Tennessee. I go to tennessee.gov and I can look up business resources. And then they will direct you on different state things that you need to do, different county things that you need to do, things like that. Okay, so next we're going to talk about something more fun, which is getting your own clients. So if you're a business owner in the field of social media, this will be really helpful for you. But also, these are foundational digital marketing things. So you can use all of these tactics as part of your digital marketing strategy, whether you're your own business owner, working for someone else, no matter what business type. There is a version of each of these tactics that you can take to get yourself more clients or your clients more clients. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about how I got started. I told you why I started becoming as a digital marketer, essentially a freelancer for many years before I started McMedia Digital. But I wanted to tell you what I did in the beginning. So at the time, this is 2009, 2010, I did a lot of in-person networking. I, at the time, didn't have a family. I was married, but the business was my sole focus at the time, outside of being newly married. So what I did was I went to different chambers of commerce. Those led to different conversations about different lead gen networking meetings. I went to everything, and at each meeting, someone would ask me to coffee and then connect me to someone else. There's actually a great training by Jason Elkins called 100 Cups Academy, and he goes into that as a strategy. He has a really cool story. I will let him tell you, but I essentially used a similar strategy. I went to all the networking meetings. Those led to other coffee conversations, which led to other networking lead generation meetings. And I did that for several years in the process of getting clients and working on those clients. But the additional thing that I did was I kept up with those people. So I met a lot of people. And my process was sort of go to a meeting, go to a coffee meeting, connect with them on social media, check in with them often. So I did that for several years in addition to working on my clients' work. That was something that I did to get new clients, was networking. We are in the middle of a pandemic right now. In-person networking is not happening. So what I would still tell you is still start with your local chambers of commerce, start with your business networking meetings, because there's likely an online version of those now. Um, and then still do the same strategy. Pick people from those meetings that you can have a separate, if you can meet in person, safely do a coffee meeting or a lunch meeting, whatever it is, or you can have someone do a Zoom call one-on-one like this with them. And that to this day is how I continue to get new business and new clients. At this point, it looks a little bit different. I am not going to a lot of new meetings where so much as reaching out to contacts that I already have and keeping up with them, doing coffee meetings with them, keeping them posted on what I'm doing, more on like an outreach perspective. So that's what I did initially, and how I continue to still get new clients. It's obviously changed a little bit, especially with the pandemic, but there's still good online networking opportunities, but there's also more opportunities now. So I'm part of several Facebook groups, several LinkedIn groups where I get in and you're active. So it's the activity, creating thoughts about the industry, being a thought leader. Even if you don't feel like you're a thought leader yet and you're new to the industry, answering the questions that you do know or posing questions, just being active in those online groups are helpful. And then participating in any online networking events that you hear of, know about, where your target audience is. So my target audience was always business owners. Now it's shifted a little bit and it is business owners, but it's usually business owners with a digital marketing agency. So I've sort of narrowed my focus. However, what I want to go into next is sort of an inside joke, but also a good lesson. So wear good shoes. What does that mean? So for a long time, I was not utilizing my own social media outside of really messaging and sometimes posting things. We had this sort of joke among all my friends that I think it's the cobblestones kids get the worst shoes because they're so busy making shoes for other people. It's the same concept for digital marketing. If you're not wearing good shoes, if you're not utilizing the principles of good social media marketing, good digital marketing for your own business, then when your clients go to you, they might have that question. So that would be my lesson. The lesson that I learned is to use the same tactics and strategies that you're using for your clients where they apply to your own business, because you're doing a communication, lead gen, building community for them. It's important for you to do it for yourself too. So that when I say wear good shoes, that's what I mean, is to the same strategies and tactics that you're taking for your clients or your business owner that you're working with, take for yourself, either as an independent business owner, or if you're part of an agency, whatever it is, just continue to do those tactics for yourself. So when you're planning social media for your clients, plan it for yourself. When you're posting for your clients, post for yourself. When you're doing email marketing for your clients, do it for yourself. That will be what propels your business forward, is to wear good shoes. So other ways that, or other, I guess, strategies and tactics that I utilize to get new clients and just to get information out there about what I do is I do have a website and I use it as home base. So you don't necessarily have to have a website to generate business. However, the digital marketing strategy that I've set up for myself uses my website as home base. I share social media posts. I do a fair amount of emailing. I do blogging, and then I try to create partnerships with other digital marketing agencies. At this point, I do that through either finding them online and creating synergies that way and starting a relationship through online messaging, or I reach back out to people that I've known from all my previous networking and create partnerships that way. So that's really how I continue to get clients these days. And again, like I said before, I do regular check-ins with partners. So I'm very conversational, I'm very personable. So I check in with them just to see how they're doing, ask how their business is going, and you will get some information out of that. They'll ask you how it's going. And if there is synergy at the time, they will pull you in. If there's not, they at least know where you're at. And I do that regularly. And usually at some point, one of those partners that I've met in the past, either I've worked with them or they know somebody who's looking for something, whatever it is, it's a version of networking, but I continue to do check-ins with them. So that's how I currently get new clients. I've talked about my strategy a lot for my business. For my business, for my clients, for anyone really, your digital marketing and your social media strategy will vary slightly, but there are some foundational things that you can do. So essentially, with social media, you're trying to build community and engagement. Like that should be your initial goal, is building community engagement. Your secondary goal should be to drive traffic. So you can drive some traffic, but until you start to build your community and engage with those people online, they're likely not to just click on a random link for traffic. However, this is sort of the strategy that I use. So I use social media as sort of the communication medium that lets people know information. I drive them back to my website for a purpose. And usually it's one of these things. I have paid for a resource. I'm asking them their opinion about something with a survey. If you are in a product-based business, you can drive traffic back to the website for that specific product. Just make sure when you're communicating, you're being value driven. So not just that, hey, I sell this product. It's more of what can this product do for your audience that you're communicating to. I put a lot of free resources out. I put a lot of content out either on my website or through guest blogging. I do webinars like this now. I haven't always. I was a little bit shy to begin with, but I'll do webinars. And then if you're a service-based business, then you want to share some of the services that you do. And you sort of create this like circular synergy between your social media, your website, your resources, and then you just continue sort of to provide value and build your community with this circular concept for digital marketing. So this is the foundation of what I do to get my own clients. And then I just want to remind you and allow you to remind your clients that this is a main communication channel now. So in the past, communication channels were email, radio, TV. Obviously, social media has been a communication channel for a while, but one of the things that bugs me the most is when someone wants to put an intern in this role or someone really young and inexperienced in this role. This is a main communication channel for your business, for your client's business, and it takes someone not just that knows the tools and how to do things, but what to say and how to handle things. So while yes, many younger people understand how to use social media, they don't really understand the why or the what. And that piece becomes really important whenever these channels are one of the main communication channels. So that's why I always like to put an experienced social media manager or someone who, if you're new to the industry, you might be gaining experience, but you likely have a foundational communication style that matches up with your clients or your business or the target that you're going after. So if your client is ever asking you to do something that you're uncomfortable with, please let them know why, because this is not just a sales channel. Like social media is so much more than that. So if you continue to just push out sales messages, you're not going to build that community and engagement. So just my 2 cents on working with clients in that aspect. Don't let them put in an experienced person in the role of social media manager. If you're overseeing them, if they're hiring you as a social media manager, let them know why, that you are a competent and capable person of communicating high level information to users who are their target audience. Here's a couple of other ideas and things that I've done in the past to get new clients. I've done my own blogging on my own website as well as guest blogging. So I'll reach out to partners and say, hey, I have an idea for this article. It's about X and some supporting information about why I think that would be good for their users. And usually they're like, yeah, totally. We need content. Feel free to write a blog. And that opens your business up to other people. As well as blogging for yourself, like you have a ton of information in your head, you probably just don't know it. Blogs don't have to be super long. It's really the activity and the action and the value that you're providing. That's what blogging is about. I've also done free strategy sessions with clients. So a lot of times, as a social media manager, like you live in this online world and you know these tools and you know what to do, but your clients don't. So just doing a 30-minute session to answer some of their questions is super helpful. And then you can know what their goals are, know who they're going after. You can help them develop a strategy. So then that free session becomes sort of like a paid session. And then I've also done free digital audits where I would look at different clients' social media and tell them how they can improve it. And usually afterwards, they hire me to improve it. So those are different ways that you can get new clients and create some business development. So my strength actually as a digital marketing consultant up until I started McMedia Digital was strategy. Like how do we use these tools for this business? And it is very custom. There's obviously foundational things as part of social media management and social media strategy, but they tend to be very custom. But this is where I really like to work with people is on their strategy. But each client and each client's strategy and their need is different. So even like the social media channels that they choose to be part of, that is custom to each client. It depends who they're going after, what business industry that they're in, whether they're a product-based business or a service-based business, their goals with social media. I've had people who want to use it to support their sales efforts, which is a pretty common goal for social media. I've had people that just want to build a community online to share their product with, to help them in some way or another. I've also had people that just want to use it for recruiting. So that's very personal and custom to each business type entity, whoever that you're working with. And then there's likely some social media specific goals. All of that is really custom to who you're working with. So the first question that I always ask is, who's your target audience? And if they don't know what that means, it's the people who's buying their product, who's using their service, who do we need to be talking to on these social channels? That's the first question. And usually it branches out from there and they start to ask specific questions. That's where you can come in and be the social media expert for them. And then, they become your client and you utilize all these tactics and you're good to go. The other things that I want to touch on when you're working with clients is branding is super important. So now in the digital age, graphics and video are so much more important now than they were in the past. In the past, I literally have posts of just text, and that's fine sometimes. But as a social media user, you know that the content that's driving community engagement and traffic are images and video. Branding is important for that. So whether it's for you or for your client, making sure that that image is on brand, that the message is on brand, and I'll get into that with a communication style as well. But also that you are actually branding those images and those videos, because at this point you can share images and you'll never know where the source came from unless that image is branded. Same thing for videos. You can screen record videos, and if it's not somehow branded, then you don't know where it came from. And you always want that to tie back to your client when you're putting out good content. So make sure that you have the branding conversation with clients, things like logos, colors, font types. That's all super important whenever you're talking about digital marketing. And then I mentioned messaging, and that can often come down to communication style. So here's a great example. I'm not going to use the same communication style as e-news uses for my corporate client. Like they communicate very differently, but I also in turn wouldn't use this corporate language with the e-news audience. So this all comes back to knowing who your audience is, how they communicate, and then also how your client would communicate. So you sort of have to tie all that in together when you're thinking about messaging. And by messaging, I mean captions, responses, things like that. I'm just touching a little bit on social media purpose and strategy because I think that it's important, and I have a way that I can help you later on in this training. So another question that I get a lot is about social media tools, like the actual things that people are using. So I have shared this tool before, but I have a free social media planning tool that you can go to my website, McMediaDigital.com, and download. It's under the free resources tab. And you can download this for free. It's essentially how I plan my own social media, how I plan my clients' social media in the past. It's the same planner that I've used with clients. And it has, you can customize it to yourself, but I have always found that when you take the time to plan your social media is better because you're never going, oh, what do I need to post today? um, and this also becomes a really helpful tool whenever you're working with clients. So if they want more visibility and to see what the plan is, what the post schedule is, some people want to like actually see and change the caption, or they want to see the image. You can put all of that in here, share this with them, let them review. It's all in one place. That way, if you're scheduling, whether you hire McMedia Digital to schedule social media posts for you, or you have a scheduler, they can literally take this information and put it into your scheduler and have it go out at the appropriate time. So this is really the first step, is planning. And the tool that I use is this spreadsheet. You can use your own spreadsheet, but you might as well just utilize this free resource because I've used it for years and it has not failed me yet. So another question I get a lot is about scheduling and reporting tools. There's so many more now than there used to be. Before, it was literally just Hootsuite. That was like the OG social media scheduler. And it's still around and happens to be one of the more comprehensive solutions at this point, obviously, because it's been around the longest. So I put a few tidbits. I had some help from a Zapier blog to put this together because I have used several of these, but not all of them. So feel free to take a screenshot of this and save it for later if you're trying to decide which social media scheduling tool, which I recommend using, because if you're managing multiple clients, like, your scheduler is very important. So Hootsuite tends to be an all-in-one, like, really comprehensive platform for planning, managing, and analytics. Analytics are important. Sprout Social is really great if you're working with multiple accounts and teams. So Sprout Social has come in to play really well whenever I've worked with an organization that has multiple locations. That has been a great tool. They have good analytics tools as well, and their reports are really nice. So like, if you literally want to send a report from Sprout Social, it looks user friendly, whereas some of the other ones you have to tweak a little bit. This is also a service that McMedia Digital offers. We help our clients. Like, reporting is something that's very important, but also becomes sort of taxing. So it needs to happen about once a month. Your clients need to see the report. You need to see the report. But we have the knowledge and capability to go into these different platforms and pull the reports that you need each month. Later, I have not used Later, although I'm looking at switching to, for one of my clients, to a more visual program. Again, it sort of also depends on who you're working with. So Later tends to be great for free visual social media marketing. Buffer has been great for just like straightforward social media scheduling. However, I will say Buffer sometimes has bugs, so just be super detail oriented whenever you're using it as a scheduler. I've not used Zoho, Meet Edgar, or Loomly, Sendable, Iconosphere, or Tailwind, but these tend to, I put some little notes based on some research about each of them. So again, every client you're working with is different. There's not going to be there's like obviously foundational things, but there's not going to be like any one solution that fits everyone. So this would be a great time to take a screenshot and just see what would be a good fit for you or your clients based on what you're trying to do with social media. So I have mentioned a few times that social media strategy and what you do, the platforms that you choose, are very custom to each individual. And a lot of the questions that I got, some of them were general and I've covered in this training, which was my goal. Like, I wanted to sort of take in all the questions and see where is there overlap, the question that's being asked often and the most, and address those with training, which I've done. However, I realized that there's probably some very specific questions that you have either for yourself as a business owner or for your clients. And that's where I wanted to offer a one-on-one training session. So I've set up, and these are our custom strategy sessions. They are paid, and you will be able, and I'll put these in the chat as well. So give me just a second and I'll put the training link in the chat. Okay, so sharing my screen again. I put the training link in the chat. If you have any questions that you want to be answered specifically, or questions about your clients, that would be the time to do that. So I broke them up between 30-minute sessions and 1-hour sessions. So when you go to that link, fill out it's a really brief contact form. One of my team members will be in touch with you, and we can set up a time for us to review anything that's custom, whether it's strategy for yourself, strategy for your clients. I'm happy to answer those questions. There's a good chance that over the course of the last 11 years, I've had to deal with whatever that you are talking about. So happy to do that. So I definitely wanted to point you all towards a resource for any questions that were not addressed in this training. I hope that this training was super helpful for you as part of getting started as a social media manager or new to the role of or new to the industry. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through an email that you received from me or through my website, McMediaDigital.com. And I'm happy to help you. Good luck in the new year and Merry Christmas.